Hey guys, welcome back to Jeevashastra Abhyasa. In this video, we are going to discuss about the menstrual cycle, which happens in female individual for the production of ovulation and thickening of the uterine wall. So don't waste this time and let's.
Today's discussion is on the topic known as menstrual cycle. So you all know this. What is menstrual cycle and how the process of menstrual cycle takes place. So and also let's know the other name of this menstrual cycle, that is endometrial cycle. Endometrial cycle. So uh, which happens in the endometrium, and also the menstrual cycle is a Latin word which means mens. It is month. So it is a cycle. It is a cycle which happens which happens each and every month. And here the cycle is compromising of 28 days in a cycle. In a cycle, 28 days comes in this particular cycle, and menstrual cycle can be understood, which includes mainly different kinds of phases where the ovulation process is going to take place, and also it prepares the uterine wall, prepares uterine wall for the implantation process. Implantation process. So the main agenda of menstrual cycle is ovulation and the preparation of uterine wall for the implantation of the fused egg. Okay, so we are going to learn this particular cycle in a different kinds of phases. Before that, a small thing I want to clear. So when this particular cycle commences in individual, so it only happens in the female individual of human female individual. So at around 12 to 15 years of age. So where this particular age where puberty is going to hit. So puberty is a term which defines the maturity of the gonads. The maturity of the gonads takes place. That time is known as puberty, and it will be around 12 to 15 years of age. So then it is where the main prominent feature of this menstrual cycle is the monthly flow, or the menstruation, where the debris, the release of single mature ovum is going to take place. Another thing is the uterine wall will have the fetus, and the monthly flow includes release of debris and blood together in the beginning of the cycle. So let's learn how we can easily understand this particular menstrual cycle in the following way. So menstrual cycle includes four different phases, and they are as follows. That is, first phase is menstrual phase, or also it is known as destructive phase. The second one can be termed as a phase, proliferative phase, and or also it can be known as pre-ovulatory phase, pre-ovulatory phase, and nowadays it is also known to be the follicular phase. Okay, and the third one, it is ovulatory phase. And the last one is a secretory phase, or also it is can be termed as post ovulatory phase. Nowadays, it is also known in the another name, that is luteal phase. So one by one, we are going to learn all these phases because we need to understand each and every one. You can see in the diagram also. I'll show by this particular diagram, which shows that a graph of an each phases, what is going to happen in each phases. So let's begin the first phase, that is destructive phase. So you can see over here the first line has been taken, that is the destructive phase is from first day to fifth day of the cycle is termed to be destructive phase, where there will be discharge of blood takes place. With the blood there will be discharge of cellular debris, and also some of the mucus is going to thrown out of the body through the vagina. And there is around 550 to 400 ml of blood will be lost during this destructive phase. Then why, the question remains, why there is a flow of blood takes place out of the body? Because only for one reason. If there is no implantation, is going to happen, implantation doesn't happen, so then the thickened wall of the uterine will be released, and the egg which is formed also going to be released through this particular process of destructive phase. And yes, this is what the first phase stands for. You can look at here in this one. So now we will move from till here. I think it will be the destructive phase, or also known as menstrual phase. Now we'll move to the next second phase, that is proliferative phase. Or also termed as pre-ovulatory phase and follicular phase. We will take any one of the name here. I'll take the follicular phase because it is very familiar to all of you. Follicular phase. So what does the follicular phase suggests? Let's see. The follicular phase begins from the sixth day of it begins from the sixth day of the cycle, and it runs up until 13th day. So that means it totally covers 7 days of the cycle, where it is mainly characterized by the transformation of primary follicle to Graafian follicle by the influence of FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. By the influence of these hormones, so primary follicle is going to be converted within 7 days of time into the Graafian follicle. And also in this particular phase, there will be uterine wall is going to get thickened. Uterine wall is going to be thickened, and the continuous secretion of gonadotropins will be there. Gonadotropins will be there. Continuous secretion of this one. FSH and LH, that is luteal hormone, is going to be there, and which increases thickness and the speed of the primary follicle to be converted into Graafian follicle is going to take place in the follicular phase. You can see in the diagram even the primary follicle is going to be converted into the Graafian follicle, which you can observe here. Now after the 13th day of the cycle, what is going to happen? That is our third phase, that is ovulatory phase. What do you mean by ovulatory phase? Is the third phase. What happens in the ovulatory phase? Ovulatory phase is simply can be defined as the phase where the ovulation is going to happen, where there will be a release of ovum is going to take place, or egg is going to take place, and the process of release of egg from the Graafian follicle can be termed as ovulation. The process of ovulation, which happens on 14th day of the cycle, which is very important day of the menstrual cycle, that is 14th day, where the egg is going to release it from the Graafian follicle. You can see over here, and that Graafian follicle will move into the fallopian tube for the and the mouth of the fallopian tube, where there will be intersection of uterine wall and fallopian tube takes place for the purpose of fertilization process. Here, both LH and FSH are continuously active, and they are at the peak. LH and FSH are at the peak. So this makes the egg to be released from the Graafian follicle on 14th day of the cycle. Now moving to the next part, that is the last part of the cycle, which happens to be the post-ovulatory phase, or also known to be the luteal phase. We will write it as the luteal phase here. What is luteal phase? Let's learn over here. The luteal phase begins from 15th day of the cycle to last till 28th day of the cycle. So where the continuous thickening, mainly the main characterizes thickening and vascularization of uterine wall takes place. Thickening and vascularization is going to take place. Continuous process will be there, and another process is going to take place. We can look over here. This is the ruptured Graafian follicle from the egg is released. It is going to be converted into the corpus luteum. So that's why this phase is known to be the luteal phase. Okay, because of the conversion of Graafian follicle to the corpus luteum, which has the ability to produce a huge amount of the progesterone. Okay, so this will help in the secondary sexual growth, and also it maintains the wall of the uterus. It has the ability to maintain the wall for the which wall? The uterine wall, for the purpose of which one? For the purpose of implantation. Okay, so if the implantation happens, there will be no further menstrual cycle is going to happen till the new young one is born. So around 12 months, around 9, and after the 9 months, there will be delivery of the young one is going to happen. After that, after around 1 or 2 months, so around between 11 to 12 months, there will be no menstrual cycle is going to happen. So once if that process is happened, so after 12 months only, the female can have an intercourse, and it can have another young one in the span of time. So before this 11 to 12 months, if the baby cannot be conceived by the female individual. So what happens if there is no implantation, or there is no fertilization has took place. So that then this particular menstrual cycle moves again to the first phase of the menstrual cycle, that is destructive phase, where the uterine wall and the wall of the uterus and the mucus all are going to be thrown out of the body through the vagina in the blood stream. And this is the menstrual cycle, which may be asked for 5 marks in the board examinations with this diagram. And also you can be given this particular graph, and you may be told to explain the graph. So graph explains simply from 0 to 5 you have to explain the first phase, and from 5th day to the 13th day you have to explain the follicular phase, and then in the 14th day you have to explain the rupturing of the Graafian follicle, where the release of egg is going to take place, which is termed as ovulation. And then you have to move to 15th day to the 28th day, where there will be conversion of Graafian follicle into the corpus luteum, which leads to the huge amount of release of progesterone from the corpus luteum, which helps the maintenance of the uterine wall and also the secondary sexual growth. So this is what the menstrual cycle is. And now we will move to the end part, where I'm going to tell you always what I tell. Just let's move there.
I hope you all enjoyed the class, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it's easy and free. Until next time, let's hit the road of success. Jai